That was Johnny Cash for some prison blues. And I'm going to be honest with you, rest in peace, Johnny Cash.
Yeah, exactly. I'll second that. Yep, what a man.
It's so sad how many people we lost. And I'm going to be honest with you, his son is doing very well on TikTok.
Right, okay, yeah.
He's actually on TikTok, and he sung the prison blues, and it's trend worldwide.
Oh wow! Oh, I shall have to have a look. I don't have TikTok. I dip into it now and again, but yeah, I don't have TikTok. I don't have Insta or Snapchat or Bookface or
Bookface.
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 I call it Bookface. Snack chat.
That's okay. I call Call of Duty called Booty.
Yeah, and yeah, Bookface, Snacks, and Instant Gran.
Instagram.
Instant Gran.
Instagram.
So yeah, I don't have any of them. And I'm quite grateful for that. Really, that I've resisted.
So when you played in a band, what was your bands called?
We were called. I was in a couple of bands during the 80s. The first band I was in, we were together for about 3 years. We were called the Locusts, and then the main band I was in, that really took off, we were called Law of the West, and we took our name. I came up with the name, and I took it from a Droopy cartoon, right? And it's where Droopy is, I think he's a sheriff, and there's like this other sort of like baddie wolf, or like, you know, cowboy character, and he keeps trying to rob the bank or something like that. And when something happens, he keeps going, "Sorry, ma'am, it's the Law West." So, and I thought, what a good name for a band. And when we were looking for a name for our band, we became Law of the West. And one of the greatest compliments we ever had, me and my friend Craig, who played guitar, and I said I was a drummer. Craig, the guitarist, me and him, we were on a London bus. We're sitting upstairs at the back of a London bus. This is back in this is in about 1985, 84, 85, something like that. And yeah, we're sitting on this bus, and you know, we're travelling up into central London or whatever. It's only a few miles, but so anyway, we're on this bus, and the bus stops at a bus stop, and these guys get on, and they come up the stairs, and we're sitting at the back. So these guys have come up the stairs, and they've walked down to the front of the bus, and they've got leather biker jackets on. And on the back, they have got like painted or printed on Law of the West on the back of their leather jackets.
Oh, wow.
And like me and Craig, we've just looked at each other and gone. And like, as these guys are sat down, they've like, you know, look round as you do, you survey the bus. You know, this is the thing, London, you know, you used to, like, back in the day, if you know, when you're sort of like a young gun about town, as it were, you know, you get on a bus, you always have a look around to see, one, if there's any nice ladies around, and two, to see if, you know, there's any chance you're going to get jumped, or, you know, you're going to have trouble. So these guys got on, and like, I've gone to Craig, wow, look at that, look, on the back of the jacket, Law of the West, on the back of their leather bikers jackets. and they've as they've sat down, they've looked around, and one's gone to the other, blah blah blah, and the other one's gone blah 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 blah, and they've looked round, and they've gone Law of the West, and me and Craig gone, yeah, that's right, mate. And like these guys they were chuffed. They were so happy to see us. And they came down and they sat like, they sat in the seat in front of us and they're going, oh, we love you. We go to all your gigs. And it was like, wow, what a compliment, What a compliment that these guys had painted Law of the West on the back of their jackets, It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, weird,
That's
weird.
crazy. I must ask you, what made it where you stopped doing the band, or do you still do it?
No, Law of the West. We split after about 3 or 4 years. Um, I don't know. I think, well, yeah, we'd yeah we'd been scouted by a subsidiary of EMI Records record label, and it came pretty close to us being offered a contract, but it didn't happen. And I think we'd been at it for so long, and everything else had been put on hold. Like life had been put on hold. So yeah, we all sort of like slowly drifted, and I went from being this crazy like drummer bloke, um, who you know who we did one gig right at this university, and
Mhm.
we got a friend of ours, we got his younger brother to call the police to say that there was a riot going on at our gig. And yeah, this gig was going brilliantly, and the police turned up, like vans and loads of police and all that, and dogs and stuff, and yeah, they turned up and nothing was going on. Everybody was just enjoying the gig. So that made, I think that made one of the newspapers or whatever, or you know, um, yeah. So that was a bit of publicity. But yeah, so yeah, I went from this like crazy drummer guy to being a librarian. I became a librarian.
That's crazy. That's crazy. It's crazy how the band life's so different to the normal life.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, I was still crazy as a librarian. I was lucky enough to work for a library department that did a lot of promotional stuff of getting kids and like young people into reading and books and stuff like that. At a time when libraries, well, they still are, they're still underfunded and that, in the UK. And yeah, it was great, and I did that for a good number of years. And yeah, it was great. It was everything from doing the library promotions to going around um, like schools and reading stories to classes of 5 and 6 year olds and things like that. And it was great. It was great. I loved it. And I did that for a number of years and got fed up with it, and um, was lucky enough to be offered a gig with someone else I used to play music with, um, to go and do a gig in Prague in the Czech Republic, and that so went over there, did this gig, um, and thought, oh, I quite like it here. It's quite a nice city. This was just after the Velvet Revolution, so it was like about 1990, something like that. And I thought, oh, that's nice. I'd like to work out here anyway. getting fed up with life in England, and I managed on another visit a couple of months later. I managed to find a job. I, just by chance, there happened to be a job going in a Czech university, and they wanted a librarian for the English. So I applied for the job, got the job. I had a little MG sports car, little old 1971 MG sports car, and drove across Europe to the Czech Republic and worked in the university there for a couple of years.
That is so cool, man, and I appreciate you sharing your story with me.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was an experience. I made a lot of friends. I mean, I'd spent a lot of time like visiting people in Europe anyway, especially Germany and France, and Spain and stuff. And then working in the Czech Republic was great. And then my contract was up. I didn't want to renew it, so I came back after a couple of years, decided, let's do something different. So I got into all things botanical and horticultural and did garden design for a bit and stuff like that, and got qualifications in that. And yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I very appreciate it. I know you've listened to music before, back in the day. Have you ever listened to Pink Floyd?
Yeah, Floyd. I like a lot of Floyd, a lot of early Floyd, and I like The Wall. That's a great film. That is, the soundtrack on that's fantastic. In fact, The Wall, the animation for it, for the video and all. There's a guy on YouNow called Mr. Posh, who's a very, very good friend of mine, and a friend of his, who actually is a friend of his father's. And this guy did all the artwork and all the animation for The Wall. And he did Pink Floyd record covers and stuff like that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, man, I know. Yeah, I only found out a couple of weeks ago as well. I was like, what? Wow. So
It's freaking awesome. I say we're going to play some Pink Floyd. Another Brick in the Wall. What do you think? Part 2.
Yeah, great tune.
All right, so that's next. That's right. Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall on Skippy the Evil Clown Radio right now.